Hello and welcome back to A City Planner Plays City Builders. This is going to be a lunchtime special. I didn't exactly like where I left off yesterday. You may have been able to tell if you've already seen the previous video that the tram line is certainly not working the way it should. We have some issues with traffic, and I want to remedy those. So one of the great things about the pandemic, one of the only things that's great, is that I have the ability to work from home, which means that on my lunch break I can game. So I'm going to fix just a couple of things and provide some insight into why I decided to make some of the decisions that I did. So I'm going to pause to start out with. I think I'm going to relocate the tram depot to be right across the street from the train station. And the other change I'm going to make here is to relocate this kind of depot where we're housing all of the trains, or all of the trams, over here. So let's get that started. We're going to do a little bit of terraforming to make this happen. Let's see. Hopefully when I move this, it'll just work. And of course it won't. So the other thing I wanted to mention, there have been some questions about why exactly I decided to go with the tram line instead of, rail or something of that nature. And I think those are fair questions. Certainly would be logical to go on a different route. I'm going to delete this. Wouldn't do that because of money normally, but this will speed up the process, and we have a lot of money right now. So back to it. The reason why I'm going with a tram line is really a couple-fold. Number one, when I move over to local commuter rail service, I want to make sure that I have enough of the map unlocked to make it really worth my while. Secondly, I want to make sure that I have enough land unlocked to be able to kind of snake this around the terrain. Normally I wouldn't do that. I would opt for the commuter rail, but the terrain of this map makes it challenging to just go out and do that up front. I also have some special plans for this area. I'm thinking we could have, clearly more residential development, but also potentially a nature park, and we could create an orchard as well up the hillside. Do something interesting here to link these areas and then have stops along the way. So there will be more stops added. They won't be as frequent as they would be with a local bus service, but there will be more stops. Okay. I want to get this far enough away that I could do some building. And I might just cheat a little bit here with the anarchy. It's ugly. Okay. I probably should have just done this as it's just train, because I don't actually want anything happening over here outside of just the turnaround. Okay. And now I can get rid of some of this craziness. Oh, whoops. Wrong one again. And I'll use an industrial road, I believe I used before. And we will get rid of all of that. So now I'm going to fix the terraforming because it looks terrible. Try to soften this a little bit. There's probably a little bit more work that I need to do here. I am going to try to keep this to be a fairly brief video, especially considering the last video went on so long. So that was the question I asked in the previous video's comments. How do you guys feel about the length of the videos? I want to make sure that I'm giving you a length that that you're pleased with, that keeps you engaged. And I do notice, I'm a novice to YouTube as far as being a creator, but I am, getting more familiar with the tools, and it looks like everyone's ducking out around 15 minutes or so. So if that's the case, having shorter videos is probably beneficial. So I will try to keep that in mind and make sure that I'm doing some of my planning off camera. So, all right, now we have this nice turnaround here. Now we need to look at our lines. All right, something. Okay, yeah, so we have our purple line coming over here. Let's move these stops. First of all, we can get rid of one of the stops now. And then our blue line, which goes over the tourism district, have a stop over here as well. Same thing with our red line. And now people can make a nice, easy, seamless transition between the intercity train and the tram. So the other thing I'm changing here, so we do have this, we do have signals here, good. I want to change the vehicles that I'm using. So I experimented a little bit with this, and I think my autosave, which is what I loaded, might have captured some of this. So the default tram doesn't carry all that much traffic, and let's take a look. So 90, or it doesn't carry all that many passengers. So it's 90 passengers on a normal tram. When you look at the light rail vehicles that I'm using, they can carry up to 300, and there's a very tangible benefit there that I want to take advantage of, and that is there are a number of backups occurring. So when I'm looking at these lines, and I can see that there's 150 people at an individual stop, what that tells me is that I either need more vehicles or larger vehicles. And I think that more vehicles is not beneficial with a line this long. I think larger capacity vehicles is the way to go. So that's why I've upgraded some of these. So I have two different options. I have one light rail vehicle that carries 218 passengers and another that carries 300. So I've upgraded these lines accordingly, and that should resolve some of these issues. I've also taken the cost of this line down considerably, because now I'm looking at only providing a third of the service I was before, because I only want 6 vehicles on this line. So I'm going to do the same thing with all of the lines, because I think this is going to improve the performance of the lines. So this is the 300 passenger vehicle. And yeah, I'll take that down. I have to play with it a little bit. This one doesn't need nearly as many, so I might just use like 2 vehicles to start out with. And because we don't have all that much congestion, we don't have to worry about the amount of time it will take for the vehicles to get here. It'll be in plenty of time, or that's at least what I'm guessing. There's a little bit of guesswork with this, unfortunately. So we're still dealing with a death problem, and I think that part of this has to do with the lifespan of the Sims in the game. It's approximately, if I recall correctly, 6 years. So we have a number of sick Sims. So that's probably something we need to investigate, and hopefully that resolves our death problem. So I am going to put a hospital probably in place of this clinic. So again, I'm not going to put that right on the main drag. Ideally, this wouldn't be placed near residences, and that is a bunch of residents. So I might actually put it here instead. Potentially a little bit closer to the other hospital than I would prefer, but still it'll work. And I'll leave that clinic there. I might actually put one more clinic to serve this neighborhood. Clinic not nearly as obstructive as the hospital, which creates a lot of noise problems. So hopefully this will resolve our death problem. I'll let it sim a little bit in between now and our next video, and we'll see if that remedies our issue. So thank you so much for joining me. Let's take one more look at how things are working over here. We'll probably need to take a look at our buses soon. Actually, yeah, before we leave, let's take a look at this. Wow, so yeah, we have some bus stops that are really backing up. So I'm probably going to switch to an articulated bus. The difference being standard bus carries 30 vehicles, and articulated bus carries 90. And this is, again, another way to remedy some of those traffic issues if you have mods available to you. If you don't, you might have to consolidate your stops or consider a higher capacity form of transit, such as going with trains or even subways. So for the time being, though, I think let's take a look. Are we still seeing a great deal of queuing here? Let's see. The blue line. So there's some, but it's not that bad, and it's not something that our vehicles can't handle. So that is exactly what we are hoping for. Oh, that's beautiful. Completely clearing the stop. Everyone's using it. And I think these vehicles are really attractive too. Just taking a look at them. Certainly have that light rail look. They're bigger, higher capacity, and they will encourage people to use transit. Another policy that I might contemplate would be free public transportation. Interestingly, that is a policy that is becoming more and more prevalent throughout transit systems. The amount of money that you get from fare box recovery isn't all that high in comparison to what it actually costs to provide transit service generally. So some communities are deciding, you know what, we might as well skip that and just instead have a fare-free service. So it's actually not all that unrealistic to consider. I believe Kansas City implemented a policy recently, or is going to be implementing a policy recently. And I know that the situation with the pandemic has caused a lot of systems to go fare-free. So it's not abnormal, it's not weird, and it really does encourage people to use transit. You wouldn't want a $2-3 collection to be the difference between someone using transit or not, especially if you see a massive benefit on your road maintenance. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I do think that we have been able to resolve some of the issues that we saw with our tram line. If you like this video, please drop a like in the comments. If you don't, you can also dislike the video. That's certainly your prerogative. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.